everyone, Gary here, Restore Solutions. Well, we're going to be talking about, in this section, dehumidification. And let's start with our fantastic brand, Ariel, made in Germany. A lot of times people say, oh, this is not made in Germany, it's made in China, isn't it? And I go, pretty sure I've been to the German factory where they make it and I've seen them make the machines themselves. So Ariel itself is owned by a company called Dantherm Group, which is in Denmark, and they own Ariel, they own Master, which is in Italy, and they also own Calorex, which is in the UK. So each one of them has a brand of dehumidifiers. But we have the Ariel range. So let me tell you what's unique about the Ariel range. So we've got three models. We're working on getting approvals for this model right now. So this model is still not available in Australia, which is the 8020. It's 16.2 kilos and a 20-litre machine. It works between temperatures of 4 to 5 degrees up to 34 degrees. So these are the two units we have available. This is called the 8780. So this is an 80-litre machine. So the 8780, it has a control to control the actual humidity. So you can preset your humidity and once it reaches that humidity, it shuts the machine down. It has an hour counter as well as a kilowatt hour counter as well. So you know how much power it's taking. It's got an automatic pump out, and we've just come along and we've got the new hoses now. So please talk to us if you have an Ariel machine. We've got a smaller hose now, they're 10 mil, and they also have the quick connect to go on, so they fit perfectly onto any of the both of the Ariel machines. So which is a 10 meter long pump out hose and 10 mil. So they did come out with a 6 meter hose and a bit thicker, but these pump outs do go 4 meters upwards. They felt that the pump outs were lasting longer with the bigger hose. They breathe better, but this one has now been approved to be able to be sold with the machine. Okay, so this blue dry technology. So with this blue dry technology, which is on both machines, but we'll talk about the 8780, the blue dry is on the coils. So what that's able to do is it makes the coils very slippery. So it's like a self-cleaning coil. So what happens is when the moisture actually gets on the coil, it actually wants to fall off very quickly. So, and as well as that is ice doesn't want to form like normal ice. It forms like little shards. So once it forms on there, it breaks off and wants to fall off very quickly also. So the blue dry technology enables them to go down to lower humidities and able to dry to lower grains as well. So this particular machine here, the 8780, will dry up to 40. It works up to 43 degrees and goes down to 3 degrees. So it pulls literage wise. It pulls up to 35 litres at 20 degrees. So it's down to 10 degrees. It pulls up to about 20 litres. So it pulls an exceptional amount of literage at lower temperatures as well as up to high temperatures. And it works down to low grains at AHAM. So AHAM at 26.7 degrees and 60% relative humidity, it will go down to 30 GPP, 30 grains per pound. So it gets very dry air at AHAM. Very robust machine. It's got a great pump out system on it. Very easy to use, dial control, turn it on, away it goes. So that's a little bit about our 8780. So how do we get it to work? It's a lot of guys, when they run dehumidification, they go, man, did you see this? The light's on. It's working. I've got the light on, it's working. Yep, I'm drying stuff. Are you? Well, do you actually do some checking? So a lot of the times, you got to check the relative humidity and temperature. And, one of the apps you can use is the Cycorp app to work out whether you have any grain depression, whether you have any grains coming out. So a lot of the times people say, well, is this low grain refrigerant or is this LGR? So no, it's not LGR, but it works at low grains. Well, what's the difference? Well, a lot of the times with LGR, that actually goes down through the coils, goes down through the coils and some of the other brands of dehumidifiers, and goes out the sides and then goes back through the coils. So it actually sometimes processes twice. So sometimes you get a bigger grain depression, but they have a different size fan. At the end of the day, you have a lot higher CFM, like this is 482 CFM. So you've got much higher CFM, and this one's a 320 CFM for such a small unit. Because they use axial fans, so you actually change the air more with these units. So it's actually passing through the actual dehumidifier more times per hour because it has a greater airflow, air exchange capacity on both of these types of dehumidifiers here. So air change is big key over in Europe. They mostly do axial fans where they can do more air exchange, which is pretty important. So more times for the air to go across the coils, more times they get the water out. So that's a little bit about how the blue dry technology works. This one here is a little bit different, where it's also got a night mode. So there's actually a night mode button on the top. Once we press the night mode button, it actually turns the fan speed down automatically for 10 hours. Lets them have a sleep. So you're only allowed 10 hours sleep, Mrs. Jones, but it turns the noise down considerably, very low noise, down at 10 hours. Actually, what we can do is switch it on and show you that. I'll pop this filter back in. So I'll get when the compressor kicks in. Once it kicks in, it starts up. And then what we do is when we press the night mode, you can see that drastically the noise got reduced. Turn the fan speed down. So obviously it turns the efficiency down a little bit, but hey, it's still on. That's the good part about it, is that's still on in the drying job. They might turn the fans off, but at least what they're doing is getting rid of that wet air. Okay, so you have low, and you can set your relative humidity on this unit, and once it reaches that relative humidity, it turns it off. So you need a really good hygrometer to check, obviously, the air coming in and the air coming out and make sure it's dry. So look at the Cycorp app and make sure that you check that out, and put your relative humidity and temperature from here, or you can actually get a meter that actually tells you your grains in and grains out anyway. So you know that you're actually getting drier air. A lot of the times, guys will have things on jobs where a lot of the dehumidifiers sold in Australia, they don't work under 19 degrees. Under 19 degrees, you just got wet, cold air coming out of it because they're in the, you've got to cool it down, and it might cool down about 18 degrees from when it goes through. So if they've got a dehumidifier and it's going in at 18 degrees and it's cooling it down 18 degrees, the air coming out, it wants to be 0. So at the end of the day, sometimes it freezes up the coils and it's always in defrost mode. When it's always in defrost mode, you got wet, cold air coming out of the dehumidifier. So these got a really good defrost system set up on them. So, and as well as they've got the blue dry set up. So at the end of the day, it still keeps continuing pulling water at lower temperatures. When I first spoke to Ariel about this over in Germany, they looked at me like weird looking, like it's normal for us in Europe to dry at lower temperatures. Well, it hasn't been like that for us here in Australia. So I brought this technology now to Australia, and we've had some excellent results with the Ariel units. So these are our Ariel units. So a lot of the times, guys also talk about dehumidifiers on how much water does it pull at AHAM. They want to know how much water it pulls at 26.7 degrees. That's the only temperature number they want to know. And the end of the number, they're looking at max. They go, well, yeah, I pull this much at AHAM. Does every one of your jobs for 24 hours, 7 days a week, always at 26.7 degrees? They go, no. What are some of your jobs? Well, sometimes we're at 15 degrees. Yep. Sometimes we're at 10 degrees. Yep. Sometimes we're at 20 degrees. Yep. Sometimes we're at 30 degrees. Yep. But sometimes we're at 25. Sometimes we're at 35. So what you want to know is, if you want to check out our website, we've got all of those numbers, what it pulls at different temperatures. So before you actually know what sort of dehumidifier you look at, make sure you find out what it pulls at various temperatures, not what it pulls at one temperature. So multiple temperatures are important. And then you've got to look at airflow or air exchange. A lot of the times people say, well, how much does it pull at AHAM? That's how we'll work out our formula. But then you go, well, okay, well, hang on. What about the air exchange? It's air exchanging more. So that doesn't make sense, that formula sometimes now. Because if I'm getting more air exchange, if I've got a unit that pulls 55 litres at AHAM, okay, if I've got a unit over a 24-hour period, and I've got a unit that pulls 35 litres at AHAM, but it's got double the airflow capacity, so I'm actually over 24 hours, I'm doing twice as much air exchange. It's completely different to your drying job. So air exchange is very important in your drying job that people don't really focus on when they're looking at purchasing a dehumidifier. So longevity as well. Obviously, these units are built to last, and most of the times, they get them in for service every 60 to 80,000 hours. We used to in Australia with dehumidifier lasting 10,000 hours. We have a party, but these units are built to last. German design, German built. Well, any more information we've got on our website regarding the product, but hope those little tips have helped you in your dehumidification process in your drying jobs. Thanks very much.